everyone, it is Bridget here from Bridget's Kitchen, hoping you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. It is Friday here in Sydney, and guess what? Friday now means Q&A Friday. So questions and answers time here with me. We're going to make this a regular occurrence because we get so many questions, from people coming through from all over the world, asking me questions about food, asking me questions about books, asking me questions about alternative ingredients, things on how they can make their journey more successful. So why don't we start this now, right here today? Q&A Friday, so you know that every Friday you can find me online, you can join a video, you can ask all those questions that you've been wanting to ask, but even if you can't make this Friday live, Facebook live video, what you can do is actually send us your questions in advance and I will answer them live here, because not only is the answer good for your knowledge, but it also helps everyone else who's participating in this live video as well. So the best way to ask your question is either to do it live on a video, of course, right here in Bridget's Kitchen, but the other best way to make sure that I actually get the question coming through to me is you need to join our private Facebook page. This is our support network. It's called Bridget's Healthy Kitchen Family. It is obviously free to join. It is an environment there where everyone is there to support each other on our health and wellness journey. So if you haven't already joined, go to Bridget's Healthy Kitchen Family, the private group. It is definitely private, so it's a space where you can share and feel quite confident about your sharing, because everything's kept within the group. But at the same time, it's a great place also to ask your questions of me, or where can I find this recipe, or where is this, and what is this? And we spend most of our time on that group asking questions. So please feel free to join us on that page. It is, like I said, it is an environment of support. It is a network for you guys. It is a resource as we're going through this journey together, and I'm still on this journey and I'm loving it, by the way, absolutely loving it. So let me know where you're coming from today on our very first official Q&A Friday here in Bridget's office. Let me know where you're coming from. Oh, kia ora to Doris, who's joining us as well, and Jordan, I see you're watching too. Nice to have you joining us today. Ladies, please let me know where you're coming from. Let us all know where you're coming from. And, Lee has just asked the first question. Thank you, Lee. Very good question. Will you have an eating plan for the new book? Absolutely. I'm going to give it a little bit of time, Lee, for people to get their books delivered. And thank you for the segue, Lee. If you have ordered your copy of the new book, More from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, it left the warehouse yesterday. Please go and check your email right now. No, not right now, after this live. Check your email. You will have an email from us with your tracking number. If you can't see it in your normal email thread, this is a question we get all the time, check your spam folder, because sometimes, it's one of those crazy things. It goes through to your spam folder. So please check that, because if you have pre-ordered this book, it left the warehouse yesterday. So now you have a tracking number and you can track your book. The book is being delivered. And yes, Lee, I will absolutely be working on a meal plan for this. I actually have another meal plan for this. This is the first book, you guys know this one, Bridget's Healthy Kitchen.com or Bridget'sCookbook.com. You guys know this one. We've already got one 28-day meal plan, which we released about 2 months ago. People are having phenomenal success on using that meal plan. It's my 28-day meal plan, and all the recipes are taken directly from this book. So if you're someone who already cooks my food and you love my food, this is the meal plan that is ideal for maximizing your weight loss journey. So we have had people coming back and telling us that they're losing on average 12 kilos. Some people have lost 15 kilos, 18 kilos in 28 days by cooking the food from this book. It's pretty phenomenal, right? So I have a 28-day meal plan that is attached to this book. I also give you, when you buy that 28-day meal plan, I give you another document. So the 28-day meal plan is awesome. And it's got videos, and it's got obviously the recipes in here. It's got shopping lists. It's got, prep lists, so you know how to prepare for the week ahead. It sets you up so well for success. But the other thing I really love about that 28-day meal plan is that it is in a robust meal plan, because I give you another document, which I call it my Go Food, No Food list. So I think it's 14 pages of food broken down into categories. So let's say, for example, you look at the 28-day meal plan and you go, oh, I don't eat chicken. Well, then you've got the alternatives. Just go to the Go Food, No Food list and go, you know, but I do eat prawns, so what are the alternatives there? So it's a really robust meal plan. It is flexible, it is delicious, and it works. So if you want to get my meal plan, or if you want to purchase your copy of the book if you haven't already got one, and don't forget, guys, this is a bestseller. This sold out in 6 weeks, the first print run. 6 weeks. We did it all purely online. Myself and my husband, we are the publishers of this book. And it sold out purely online, 6 weeks. We're now in the second print run. We're about to order the third print run of Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. That's how well it's been doing. And now that we've got that meal plan, which accompanies the book, I have the second meal plan, which is the next stage for you guys as well, which is ready to come out. I'm just holding back a bit because, of course, we released this a couple of days ago. So, you know, I can't just keep on throwing stuff at you guys because this is brand new. This is hot off the press, as you know. So if you have ordered your copy, check your email, check your spam folder. You'll get a tracking number if you've ordered your copy. It is on its way to you. It was all sent out of the warehouse yesterday. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books were sent from the warehouse yesterday, which is exciting. If you haven't ordered your copy, you still have the opportunity to order your copy and get the free offer we're giving. We've extended that offer, which is a copy emailed to you of my latest ebook, which is Bridget's Healthy Breads and Pastries. 32 recipes of food I kind of love. You know, there is literally, if I can go through the list of recipes we have in there, of course there's breads. There's quick breads that take 90 seconds, breads that require yeast as well. There's yeast-free breads. There is my unbelievable, which you have to try, my unbelievable seaweed soda bread, which is literally my favorite thing ever. Like, I love this soda bread so much. It's so easy to do. You just put things in a bowl and you just kind of go like that. And then you've just got, I've made bread. And everyone goes, oh my God, it's amazing. Like, you look like such a genius when you do this sort of recipes. So that's in there. But you know, my banana berry bread's in there if you want something a little bit sweet. I also give you recipes for pastries. So for pastries, like sweet pastries, savory pastries, if you want to make sausage rolls, if you want to make meat pies, or you want to make apple pies. I have wheat-free, gluten-free, everything in there. And this particular ebook is given out free when you purchase your copy of More for pre-sales. You've got until Sunday at 6 p.m. Mahi, 6 p.m. Sunday
Sydney time.
Sorry, Sydney time. Sunday at 6 p.m. We're going to cut the offer because it was for pre-sales and we have extended it to people who have bought the book as a thank you for supporting us. So if you want my ebook, you've got until Sunday to purchase your copy, morefrombridget.com, to get your copy, and then you still get that free ebook. Now, the next thing I need to talk about before I get into the actual questions, I've got so many questions coming through. The next thing I need to talk about is that I am hosting the very first book launch for More. So the very first book launch we're hosting in WA, in Perth, actually in Fremantle. We're in Fremantle, and that book launch is happening on November the 3rd, which is a Sunday. Mahi, could you please throw up a link for that book launch, please? It is free to come along to the book launch. If you have your copy of More, you can feel free to come along to the book launch. Bring your copy, because it's in the mail to you guys, and I will sign it. I'm doing a free cooking class, so you get to be part of a cooking class. You get to mix and mingle on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Fremantle, right there on the water. We're hosting this this free book launch, a book signing. But if you want to purchase your copy, and you can do that, you can purchase your copy and pick it up at the event as well. You just need to go to our Eventbrite link and you can get either a free ticket, bring your book along, I'll sign it, or you can get a ticket with book purchase. And if you do that, then what then happens is that you pick up your book on the day, because we are bringing some books with us, join in a cooking class, you know, get your book signed, all that sort of wonderful thing. And we're doing that for free in Perth, and I'm so excited to be doing it in WA and in Perth, Fremantle, because we had so much interest from that part of the country in Australia. So that's the first book launch next week. November the 3rd, which is a Sunday in Fremantle. It starts about lunchtime. So just, you know, book it in, but make sure you get them fast, because we've only got a few tickets left, because the venue is I can only fit a few people, you know, a certain number in. So make sure you book in fast. And if you are thinking about buying a book, pre-purchase your book, because I won't have a lot of spares, because I'm bringing the books from Sydney to Perth. So I need to know how many books I need to put into my luggage, basically, or, you know, pre-order and pre-send to Perth. So if you're thinking about purchasing a book, make sure you do it beforehand. Otherwise, I don't want you to be disappointed and that you miss out. So that's Perth, November the 3rd. The link has been shared. The books are on its way if you've pre-purchased. And yes, we are extending that offer. We are extending it till Sunday at 6 p.m. Sydney time. And then my husband said, got to turn it off. So we're turning it off then. That ebook will be available for purchase in the next little bit as well. And you'll see that go on Bridget's Facebook shop page, which is part of Bridget's Kitchen. So there you go. So into the questions, because we've had a few questions come through. And one of the questions, like I said, a lot of these questions come through via our private group, which literally is the best place if you guys really want to be supported through your journey. Like, I can't even state how awesome it is. It is a place of people sharing, and you will be pulled up if you're not being nice. And I don't mean like everyone has to be nice and fluffy. It is an environment of support, and we encourage support. So if you're in that frame of mind and you're thinking, I'm really enjoying the recipes, you know, from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, or I'm about to get more delivered to my mailbox, I'm really enjoying it, but I just need a little bit more, please join us on our Facebook page, because it really is a wonderfully supportive environment. So some of the questions, I'm just going to go to Joan. I just saw your message pop up, Joan. Love your recipes. I purchased your books. What I need some advice on replacing onion and garlic in all your recipes. Well, Joan, my best advice, if you can't handle onion and garlic, just leave it out. They're a type of family, and I'm talking about the onion family, that for some people cause inflammation, for other people who have IBS, or for people who also have autoimmune, issues. They do find that onion and garlic is not a great thing. So the best advice, Joan, is please just leave it out. Onion and garlic is like the building blocks of a recipe. So unless you're having onion soup, which is like the recipe, right? Or you're having caramelized onions, you can actually get away with leaving it out. I would, because I'm a huge fan of these building blocks, because for me, building blocks creates flavor, which is really important. But if your body is saying to you, heck no, I can't do it, leave it out. Number one, leave it out. You can still build with other flavors. So you would have other things. I don't know how your body feels about leeks. Leeks are an alternative to onion. They're the same family though, so I'm a little bit skeptical about whether it's something that you could have, but it's something that you might want to just, have a bit of a look at. Research into it. When I say research, just try a little bit in your diet if you haven't had it before. Leek is in season now. It is kind of a what are we now? Summer, autumn, winter. We're a spring. We're moving into summer. So it's kind of that leaky time, we're at the end of it, because leek is more winter. But there is nothing stopping you from giving it a try. So that's what I'm going to say. If there's something in your diet that you're unsure about, remove it from my recipes, especially when there are things like onion and garlic. You can do that instead of adding, garlic, add ginger, because ginger's like, ginger's amazing, right? But you can look at other things in the same family, in that onion family. Leeks are another one. They're a lot more delicate. Spring onions, I don't know how you feel about spring onions. You could try that. But if all else fails, just leave it out. So no leeks, just leave it out. Because remember, it's just a building block. It literally is a building block. It will have an impact on the overall recipe, but it's not the be-all and end-all. It's only when you're like literally doing like an onion soup that you're like, maybe I won't do onion soup. I need to leave it off the menu. So just leave it out, Joan. Absolutely. So one of the recipes, one of the questions I had come through, and I heard someone had a question about inulin a little bit back. I missed the question. If you're still online, please can you share that question again, because I want to get to that question. Mahay's going to have a look for it as well. Yep.
Rebecca Sands.
Yep, Rebecca.
I brought some inulin powder, but it says to only introduce it at quarter teaspoon at a time, but not why. I'm worried because I couldn't find it in the shop. Okay.
Rebecca asked, she bought some inulin powder online, which is probably the best place for you guys to buy inulin. I share a lot of inulin in my recipes, and we know that inulin is a prebiotic. It is a dietary fiber. It is a soluble dietary fiber. And so it has with any fiber, if you have too much fiber in your diet, it can have a laxative effect. So Rebecca's question was that she bought some inulin online, and that was a recommended dose of to start to introduce it into your diet, a quarter teaspoon at a time. And I would definitely say to you, Rebecca, that we need to be wary of inulin. But what I have discovered is that when inulin is put into food, our body can tolerate it a lot greater. So when we are adding inulin into maybe, you know, a healthy treat or something like that, the body can deal with it and digest it better. But if you were just taking a teaspoon of inulin and having it, you know, just on its own, your body might go, I don't know what's happening here. There's a bit more fiber than what I'm used to. But that also depends on where your diet's at the moment. If you have a diet that's really high in processed fat, sugar, if you're already at that place and you're not doing a lot of fiber, your body will notice it. If you're already having a high fiber diet, so you're eating a lot of plant-based proteins, a lot of plant-based foods, you will find that your body can handle it better. So the cleaner your gut, the more that inulin's actually going to just be in there to help to create that really positive environment. So my suggestion is, when it comes to inulin, is definitely go slowly. If you're adding it to the recipes, please be assured that the recipes that I have in this book, the recipes I have in this book, which have inulin in it, all my recipes, all my ebooks, I have triple, quadruple tested these recipes. It's not going to have a laxative effect on you. If you were to take a tablespoon of inulin pure, I wouldn't suggest it, put it that way. But all my recipes are tried and tested. You're not going to spend too much time running to the toilet at all. In fact, it's going to be a very natural progression on how you have the inulin. The other thing is that some people have said to me that they have had inulin and they've experienced some negative effects, bloating, cramping, diarrhea. That the whole idea is you've probably taken too much and you need to pull it back. So if you're using my recipes, rest assured you don't go overboard. And if it's a recipe for 2 and you have all the portions, or for a recipe for 5 and you eat everything, you might want to be a bit careful, yeah, because it is definitely a laxative. It has a laxative quality, I should say, and it is a soluble fiber. So fiber is good for us, but when we have too much, you may experience a little bit of bloating and cramping, and everyone's different. Everyone is different. Like now my tolerance for inulin is quite high because I'm used to having it in my diet. My gut's really, really healthy. So I can tolerate inulin in my food. I still don't have more than a teaspoon at a time of inulin straight from the teaspoon, because inulin's actually really good. Here's a little trick for you guys, or here's a little bit of advice. A nice way for you to incorporate inulin into your diet is almost like a supplement. So you can start with literally a quarter of a teaspoon first. Quarter of a teaspoon of inulin, just on the teaspoon, before you go to bed. That's going to help to settle your gut, because remember, inulin is a prebiotic. Probiotic, not a prebiotic. It's a probiotic. No, I was right the first time. It's a prebiotic. Yeah, it was a prebiotic. It feeds probiotics. It promotes gut health. It helps your gut to settle at night. Start with a quarter of a teaspoon of inulin before you go to bed. Fabulous. As you're getting used to it, maybe in a couple of days' time, move up to half a teaspoon. Not very much, just a couple of grams. And then, you know, after you've been doing it for, you know, a couple of weeks, you move up to a teaspoon of inulin. Before you go to bed, you will have a great sleep, because that inulin powder is going to help to keep your gut happy as you are sleeping, which is such a bonus, because it's going to keep that little microflora really, really happy and really and turning over really, really well. So that's a great question. Another question that I have had recently, I've made a list here so I don't want to miss out. Can I cook kombu water? And you guys know kombu water is obviously in the first book, and it's what I use as a stock. So kombu water is made from dried kelp or seaweed, and instead of using chicken stock and vegetable stock and all that sort of stuff, I use kombu water. And the reason I use kombu water, it's really good for regulating the thyroid. So it helps to boost our metabolism, which helps to promote weight loss. So kombu water is a staple. You will find it in so many of my recipes. And the question was that we got yesterday in our private group was, can I cook kombu water in a slow cooker? And yes, the answer is yes. Go for it. Do it. Absolutely. You can put your seaweed and follow the list of ingredients, which is basically kombu, dried seaweed, and water. Put it in your slow cooker. Leave it there overnight on low. The next day, it's absolutely done. So it's fantastic. I've just had another question from Deb, who's asked, is inulin okay for diabetics? Deb, inulin is perfect for diabetics because it's not a sugar. It will not spike your insulin. And one of the things that my recipes do and how I create my recipes and how we have created this book. And this book is everything that I do is diabetic friendly. So it won't spike your insulin levels, which is what you want to avoid when you're a diabetic. It won't give you high blood sugar levels as well. It will keep you evenly paced. Remember this, inulin is not a sugar. It is not a sweetener. It will not spike your insulin levels. For diabetics, it is literally brilliant. It could not get any better for diabetics. So I take all the sugars, and don't forget, not only, and we know white sugar, we know brown sugar. Everyone goes, yep, that's a sugar. Yep, coconut sugar is also a sugar. It also has the same effect in your body. For diabetics, it's a no-no. It will spike your insulin levels. And what we're trying to do is keep your insulin levels at a level where your body's not freaking out. So brown sugar, coconut sugar, absolutely, palm sugar. If you see raw cane sugar, it is still sugar. Do not be like, it really bugs me how food manufacturers try and trick us into thinking, oh, it's raw or it's organic. No, it's still sugar. It's still sugar. Honey is sugar. It still has it, because what happens when you ingest honey or organic maple syrup or rice malt syrup or any of those types of sugars, it has the same effect in our body, and it spikes our insulin levels. And when our insulin is high, our body is unable to use the fat stores as energy. All we're doing is using what's stored in our liver. We're using the glucose. And what we need to do is to be able to bring the insulin levels down. Because when your insulin is low, you have a low reading, what then happens is your body is able to isolate the fat cells and use that as energy. And when we're using fat, we're burning fat, which means we're losing weight and we're getting healthy. So inulin is perfect for diabetics. I can't even categorically the best thing for anyone who is pre-diabetic or has type 2 diabetes. It is absolutely perfect. If you want to buy inulin, you can do that. And like I'm saying, at the moment, please do it online, because a lot of stores they don't have it. Even the health food stores struggle with it because they just don't know about it yet. I've been using it in my diet. I've been using it in my recipes, since I've started this journey, and I can tell you categorically that inulin is key to us being able to still have that healthy lifestyle, enjoy our treats, because we all want to be treated. No one wants to feel like we're being starved of food. We want our good stuff. This is a way that we can still eat the food that makes us feel comfortable, the food that we enjoy, the food that just makes us feel good. And for a lot of people, myself included, those are treats, those are sweets, those are things that, in general, they haven't been good stuff for us. They haven't been good to our bodies, because food manufacturers do not care about us. They care about profits over people. They don't care about us. They just want to get the cheapest food into us as possible, the cheapest price for them. They want it to be shelf stable. It can stay on the supermarket shelf for as long as possible. They do not care about us. They don't. They care about how much money they can make from us. So they make us addicted to sugar. They make us addicted to salt. They make us addicted to fat. Easy, processed, convenient food that in the long run, it's so inconvenient because we're the ones that suffer. We get diseases. We have obesity levels. We have depression, because don't forget, think about your gut. Think about your gut for a while. And by the way, the gut's huge. It's so long, it's ridiculous. It starts at your mouth and ends at your down the other end. I hate to say, down there. It is huge. Your gut is huge. Do you know that your colon, which is just one part of your gut, is the entire length of your body? That's just your colon. Let's not forget about your esophagus. Your mouth starts here with digestion, your stomach, your intestines, and then your colon as long as you. There is so much there that can go right or that can go wrong. So if we just consider our gut for a second and how important it is that we keep our gut happy, because what is created in our gut, did you guys know this? 90% of serotonin, which is your happy hormone. This is the thing that makes you smile at me all the time. 90% of your serotonin, your happy hormone, is produced in your colon. So if your colon is dirty, if your gut is dirty, what chance do you think you have at being happy, at just feeling good about life? It's so limited, it's almost not funny. It's almost not funny. Because when we're eating processed food, when we're eating food, like we're eating food that our body just does not want us to eat. And I'm talking about sugar, completely unnecessary. The only thing sugar does for us is make us happy here. Everything else, and this is a really small part of our body, 95% of our body is not happy when we eat sugar. Or when we feed sugar to our kids as well, right? Think about the sugar rush. Kids go, wah, they go crazy, and then they crash and burn. So do we as adults. We're just a little bit better at disguising the sugar rush and the crash and burn. It's exactly the same thing. So this is about keeping our gut happy, not just for weight loss. Weight loss is amazing, and look at me. I have never looked. The last time I looked like this, I was 13. I'm a little bit older than 13 right now, just a little bit. The last time I weighed this much, I was in high school. And I just started high school too, by the way. I was right at the start of high school. Right at the start. The last time I felt this good emotionally, I can't even remember. I can't even remember. I want everyone to feel as good as this feels. And I have done this with diet. Because it all starts with what we put in here. It all starts with here. We are either feeding the poison or we're starving it. Oh, sorry, we're feeding the disease or we're starving it. Let's starve the disease and start to give our body the goodness that it deserves, because you only get one temple. This is it. This is it. This is what we get. Let's look after it. So we're here for a long time, right? We're here to enjoy our lives, and you can do the stuff in your life that you want to do. You can start ticking off the box, that bucket list. You're like, yeah, done that, done that, done that. Yes, I got a question. Yes, Mahi.
Kerry Neal has asked, my dad is suffering gas after a bowel op he had 2 months ago. Should I start him on insulin it should be inulin quarter teaspoon to help him?
Okay, Mahi I'm not sure if you guys are hearing his questions, but it was a question about someone who's had a bowel operation.
Kerry Neal.
Kerry asked about a bowel operation for her dad who's suffering from gas. So gas is... it's not good. I hear you, Kerry. And if Dad's suffering, it's really annoying the living daylights out of him. And how do we start to help Dad through that process? I would not suggest adding any more fibre to his diet. So inulin is not a great idea because Dad's already suffering from an over proliferation of what is happening in his bowel and his gut. And he probably needs to decrease that. So I would not suggest inulin with him right now, but we need to look at foods that are anti-gassy, basically. So anything like, and we talked about the onions, heck no, anything in the onion family, he should not be having any beans, anything that would normally cause gas. Dairy is another one. If Dad's having dairy, I would completely avoid dairy for a while as well. Ruth's just saying she heard Mahi well, so that's good. That's good. Thank you, Ruth. So I would avoid foods that would naturally cause gas, and gas is caused by food fermenting in our stomach. So we really want to avoid the fiber foods as he's getting through this operation. You can start to put the fiber diet foods back into his diet, but for now I would avoid them. So I'd go onto Google and I'll ask Dr. Google, well, not Dr. Google, just ask Google, because there's so many different wonderful websites and people sharing information out there, just like what I do online. We share our information, but we also it also pays to just know what you're working with. So if you were to Google something like low gas foods, or low foods that don't produce gas naturally, you'll find this whole area of foods that you can look at. I would definitely suggest to watch his dairy intake. I would totally stay away from anything like pulses and beans. So I'm not just talking baked beans because that's an obvious one, but even things like lentils and stuff like that, you want to stay away from those types of foods. And there's also the onion family, which can cause gas too. And even, would you believe, broccoli and cauliflower can be quite gassy for some people. So there's a really nice start for you. I hope that helps, but I would definitely go online and start to research foods that do not cause gas. There you go. That's the Google thing to put in. And look, that's where I start most of my journey when it comes to understanding how food works in our bodies. As I research. I read all these books behind me, plus there's thousands more that way. You're just looking at the blue and the red and the pink behind me, but there's thousands of books here. So I do my research. I read so much. I read every single day. I'm constantly trying to increase the knowledge that I have here, not just to share with you guys, but just because it makes things easier for me to understand how my body works. And once you understand how your body works and what food better works for you, you take back control. It's no longer the scatter approach, you know, like you're just firing the gun and hoping that something hits. You know, that doesn't, you know, and you know, it doesn't work that way. We need to get evidence-based research. So look for, you know, you need to look, when it comes to looking online, go for evidence-based. Not someone's opinion, go for evidence, right? And research and empower yourself with the knowledge, because you can then pass it on to all these other people as well, which is really exciting. So really, really great question. I hope Dad sorts it out. Does he stop blaming the dog? Because that's what normally happens, right? Oh, it's a dog. So the next question I had is from someone who said to me they suffer from inflammation. So inflammation, as we know, can happen in the joints, and it's debilitating when it comes to inflammation. Because remember, this is not just about weight loss. Weight loss is amazing, but it's about making us healthy for life, right? Making us healthy, and then we can pass on all these good teachings and all these good learnings and all the delicious food to the people that we care about as well. So someone asked me, yes, they suffer from inflammation. My dad suffers from inflammation. He has osteoarthritis, which is, like I said, it's debilitating. It's the worst thing to see him suffering through. You know, he used to be such a energetic and vital man, and he's suffering through his inflammation. So when it comes to inflammation for this person, what they asked me, they said that when they have the tamari, which you know is our gluten-free alternative to normal soy sauce, so it tastes a bit nicer than normal soy sauce. It's not as salty for a start, but it is tamari is a byproduct of miso creation. So you know what, you guys know miso, right? If you've ever been to a Japanese restaurant, you always get that amazing warm, comforting bowl of miso delivered to you, you know, usually first before you even get anything else coming out of the kitchen. Well, miso is fermented soy, which is not good for Dad, who's just had the bell. Oh, no fermented soy. Not good to have fermented foods just yet. We need to keep away from the fermented. But miso is such a delicate flavor, really delicate flavor. It's described as, because, you know, like, traditionally, they talk about our tongues, our palates having a number of senses. One of those is salty, sweet, sour, and bitter. They talk about these 4 senses that we can detect on our palate. And something's either salty, sweet, sour, or bitter. That's traditional. And that's what I actually learnt when I was at chef school, that those are the 4 tastes. And actually your tongue, you can taste these things all in different places. Like, for instance, if you think about sour, like imagine you're biting a lemon right now. You might get that sensation right on the back of your tongue. That is where your palate detects sour foods. It's right already I'm salivating just even thinking about biting into that lemon. That sour lemon, and that is the sensation you're getting on the back of your tongue right now. That's where your sour taste buds are located. Now, when it comes to your sweet taste buds, they're located right there on the tip of your tongue. There, that's where you can really sense the sweet taste buds there. So what have we got? We've done sour, we've done sweet. Your bitter taste buds tend to be down here on the sides there. Like, you think about that, you're eating something like, oh, that wasn't very nice. I don't think I like that too much. And your salty are just there, just on the side there. So those were those 4 tastes, sensations that they've always talked about. They shared to us chefs and all this sort of stuff, you know, blah, 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 blah. And yes, Nicole, tamari sauce is naturally gluten-free. There's no gluten-free in tamari, which is awesome. That's one of the reasons why we use it. So the Japanese, and this is where I know it's a bit of a story, bit of a long-winded story, but the Japanese have identified, gosh, I love the Japanese more than anything. Their food's amazing. They identified the 5th taste element. Yes, we had salty, sweet, sour, and bitter. The Japanese identified the 5th taste element, and they describe that as umami, which you may have heard that word being thrown around. Now you guys know exactly what it means. Umami describes savouriness. Now I'm going to throw out some foods to you, and you'll think to yourself, yeah, that's how you describe that element. Now think about a mushroom, and a mushroom is umami. Think about a really, really good quality Parmesan cheese. A nice Parmesan cheese that's got lovely crystals in it, so it's got a real bite to it. That is umami. So miso soup is umami. And one of the reasons why I love tamari, because it is umami. It has a certain savoriness that soy sauce does not have. And yes, it's naturally gluten-free. But for some people, because it's still a product of soy, and soy for some people causes inflammation. So if you're someone that you're finding that your inflammation gets worse when you're having a soy product, tamari, remember, is a soy product, even if you use a low sodium tamari. And I always suggest that you get a low sodium tamari if you can find it. If you can't, just as long as you're using tamari, but we just don't add as much salt to our food. If you're still finding your body's suffering from inflammation, the alternative to tamari is something I'm going to introduce to you guys today. In fact, I've probably got a bottle of it on the side of the stove or in the pantry.
What are we after?
Coconut aminos. Have you guys heard of coconut aminos? It looks like a tamari bottle. It's about the same, 250 mils. It's got a green label. Look, I always know the colors. For me, everything's about colors. I remember things through color, like literally. Hence why all the books are color coded. When I think about, I need to grab a recipe and I don't remember the book, but I'm like, oh yeah, that recipe was in a book that had a yellow spine, and hence why I've got everything. For me, it's color. I'm a visual learner, and yes, these got it. The coconut aminos that I'm talking about. Let's take that off so it looks pretty. Oosh. This is it here. Oh, I know it's backwards, but this is what this is the brand that I used. You don't have to be brand specific, but what you're looking for is coconut aminos. Now let me just give you a bit of an idea of what this is. You can buy this. I haven't seen it in a supermarket yet. It's one of those foods that a little bit, there's still, supermarkets are catching up to us. We're leading the game here with inulin and fibre syrup and coconut aminos, but health food stores have definitely got it. If you can go to your health food store, you can probably find it online as well, coconut aminos. So without my glasses, I've got to put it far away. This is the non-soy version of basically soy. So there's no soy in here. So for someone who does suffer from inflammation, this may be a really nice alternative to tamari, because you don't have to worry about it inflaming your joints, because soy can do that to some people. Not to everyone, but to some people, soy is a real big no-no. So this is the alternative to tamari. Coconut aminos. All right. Okay. It is handmade from fermented coconut blossom, nectars and spices, and then it is barrel aged to perfection. It is gluten-free, it is dairy-free, it is nut-free, and it is soy-free. So it has an almost like a sweet, if you like tamari or you like my sticky sauce, this is kind of similar to it, kind of. It's a bit sweeter than tamari. So I do go really gently when I add it into food, but it is a great alternative if you can't have tamari. And it's a nice thing to have in your cupboard. I just think it's you can still use it in the recipes where I use tamari, 100%, but I wouldn't suggest that if there are certain, because it's a little bit sweeter, because remember it's made from coconut blossom nectar, which even sounds sweeter, right? So it's a bit of a sweeter alternative. It's not got that sort of umami-ness that tamari has, but it is a worthy alternative if you suffer from inflammation or if you can't have soy. There you go. That's a really great one as well. So if I got any more, okay.
I shared information on that.
And Mahi has just shared a link because he is awesome. He's just the man. It's so good. And hey, another thing, if you are coming to the Perth book launch next weekend, next Sunday, you get to meet Mahi too. He's finally going to be joining me on all these little events that we're doing all over the country, so you get to meet Mahi as well as myself, which is super exciting because you guys hear him all the time. He's the rock that holds this together, and you finally get to meet him. He's probably going to be shy. No, he's not shy, don't worry. He's not shy at all. So yes, don't forget next Sunday you can get, could you just drop on that link one more time for anyone who's just joined us, please? Perth book launch. Can't wait to meet you guys. So the last question I have today, please feel free to drop me if you've got one more question for me before we move on, because I'm about to end this live just because we've got a few other things to do today. The last question I have is, where can I buy fibre syrup? So if you have downloaded my Healthy Treats ebook, which is awesome, it's like 30 recipes of the most amazing healthy treats that we can incorporate into our diet, you'll find that I do use a bit of fibre syrup. Now, what is fibre syrup for a start? Fibre syrup is the alternative to honey, maple, rice malt syrup, all those sort of syrupy type things. Now, fiber syrup, once again, is a prebiotic. So it's good for our gut health. It is a natural product, and it is incredibly low in calories. It's almost not even worth talking about how many calories you're going to add to it, yet it has the same effect in recipes if you were to add honey or maple syrup or something like that. So I use fiber syrup in types of recipes where I would normally have used honey or maple or roast malt syrup, because that's all sugar, right? That's going to spike your insulin levels. It's not good for diabetics. It's not good for weight loss. It's not good for our gut health. All the stuff. Whereas fiber syrup is good for our bodies. So I purchased my fiber syrup. It's not readily available. Once again, guys, we are ahead of the curve. You guys are at the cold face of health and wellness and gut health around the world, because these products are not readily available through your supermarket and stuff. So you do need to purchase online, but you're going to be purchasing it. If you're in Australia, there is a company called Surkin, spelled S-U-R-K-I-N, Surkin Australia. They are a reputable business. They will send you your product. They're based in Perth. In fact, I get to meet the wonderful lady who looks after Surkin Australia. Me and her, we've been buddies online for a while. Oh, there we go. Sucrin, sorry. There we go. That's what it looks like. Sucrin, fiber syrup. See, it's clear, but it literally is syrupy, almost like glucose syrup, but it's not a sugar. Remember, that's a prebiotic. So I get to meet this wonderful lady on Monday, just because I'm going to be, not this Monday, the following Monday. It's just going to be in Perth, and we're going to catch up for a coffee, because I've been talking about this. I'm not paid by them. I just love a product that's really good solution for us. Like, there is no reciprocating, things going on between us. I just love her product. She's supplying a really good option for us here in Australia. Sucrin, not Surkin, Sucrin, S-U-K-R-I-N. You can go to Sucrin Australia, Google that. It'll come up. You're looking for this. And remember, this is a prebiotic, and it's so good in so many different recipes where you would normally add honey. So I do a muesli or a granola bar with this that I cannot create unless I had this product. This is the only way I can create it, is with this product. So there are wonderful ways that you can incorporate this into your diet. It's not the cheapest bottle to buy, but you don't need to add much. You're literally adding a tablespoon at a time, so it's worthwhile having in your cupboard. And like I said, they don't endorse me. I just love something that's good for us, and for me, this is a great option. So go online and have a look for this. That's where you can buy it. And like I said, don't even bother to walk into your supermarket and ask for it. They'll look at you like you've got two heads, like you're an alien. They're like, what's this fiber syrup? Just grab some syrup. There's maple syrup over there. Don't know. And even in the health food stores, they don't know. So the best place is to Google it online. If you're not in Australia, I do believe there is a company that also provides this in New Zealand as well. So just Google it. And what happens when you Google a product? It'll come up where you can purchase it, like in your location, because Google works with location, where you're based, where you are. So it will give you the best places to buy it. If you're looking for fiber syrup that is a prebiotic, very, very low in calories, extremely low. Look, I still have my glasses on. I can't read the back. I can't read it. It is extremely low in calories. No, it's not going to work today. Google, literally, look, there's research there. There's evidence-based research about fiber syrup. There's lots of information so you guys can see what you're buying and why you're buying. And the reason I'm using it is because this works in some recipes where we need that syrup as opposed to something like an inulin powder. So we've got our last question from Mahi right now.
Kathy Pa has asked, are pickles and sauerkraut good as fermented food?
Okay, Kathy has asked whether pickles and sauerkraut are good as fermented food. So really great question, Kathy. And we need to differentiate what is a pickle and what is a fermented product. Now, a pickle is literally that is pickled. And they have different functions when we eat them. So fermented food, usually you're looking at something like a kimchi, which, by the way, I've got a kimchi recipe in the book, a really easy kimchi recipe. In fact, I think I call it easy kimchi in the book. So there, I just turned to the right page. There it is. This is my easy kimchi. And kimchi is a fermented cabbage. It doesn't use any acid to make it. It actually uses salt to ferment it and the natural enzymes that are in the food. So a fermented food is a little bit different from a pickled food, because a pickled food normally uses an acid in order to ferment it. But my pickles have a very similar reaction in the gut. So I'm not talking about your store-bought pickles or pickles that you can buy normally, like you know, because a lot of those pickles they use a lot of salt and they use a lot of sugar to ferment them. My pickles are all sugar-free, as you know, and I use inulin, which is a prebiotic. So it's going to help you to having a good ingredient in your food, in your gut, which is going to help your body to process the food and make that gut environment really, really healthy. So I just want to show you guys, this is the new book. So I've got my pickled onion recipe in there, done with apple cider vinegar and inulin. But remember, inulin is a prebiotic. We're increasing the fiber content in our food, and we're also making sure that we're creating that wonderful, healthy gut microbiota. So we're feeding our gut with healthy bacteria, whereas your fermented product, something like your kimchi and your sauerkraut, which is fantastic, they have a similar effect to my pickles, but they are, if you were to choose, if you were like, I don't make pickles, but I'd like to have something fermented, then I would look I would go to a good health food store or a veggie market that do like really good quality sauerkraut or kimchi, and just read the label and make sure there's no sugar in there. That's probably the best advice. Sauerkraut, they'll probably just mainly be salt, because that's how they used to make sauerkraut. Kimchi, be careful. Some kimchis do have a high quantity of salt. Obviously, of sugar. There's no sugar in my kimchi, and you will get very similar benefits from my pickles, which are prebiotic, and also from a good quality sauerkraut and a kimchi as well. I hope that answered your question, and I hope you've enjoyed this very first Q&A Fridays here in Bridget's office. And next Friday I'm going to be doing a Q&A from Perth. So I'm going to set myself up, get ready for next Friday. I'm going to be in Perth for the weekend. Obviously, we've got a book launch to do. I'm hosting a Friday dinner party with some amazing people in Perth who are going to join me for a dinner party. And then on the Saturday, I'm actually doing a masterclass, and I'll be releasing the tickets for that masterclass on the Saturday. So you get to come and hang out with me for the day. We're going to do a really intimate, small little masterclass with some people, cooking class and a luncheon on the Saturday. And then on Sunday, of course, we've got the book launch, which is exciting in Fremantle. So I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Check your mailbox, right? Check your mailbox, check your emails. It's on its way. Yes, thank you for joining me. I look forward to speaking with you guys again. Well, I'll still be online, in the next couple of days, but definitely don't forget Q&A Fridays. Every Friday here in Bridget's office or Bridget's kitchen. All right, guys, enjoy this amazing day wherever you are in the world. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your weekend. Eat well. Share. Join our Facebook page, the private one. Do whatever you need to do, but just have a wonderful time at it. And let us know how you're going to, and let us know what you think of the book. All right, guys. Talk soon. Have a great one. Bye.